Hey, welcome to Unlock Church. My name is Scott Mendenhall. So excited to have you with me. Don't worry, I'm not alone. If you're a first-time guest, you have arrived at the right spot. This is where we talk about life and we banter a little bit about what just happened in the one-wheel race. So if you're coming from the one-wheel race, I'm not alone today. We've got Lily and Kristen on the other side of the room. What do you know about today's race, ladies?
Hello, It was an amazing race. Do you see how hard it is being on this side?
Yes.
You never know what to say.
If you are just joining us, my name is Lily.
I'm Kristen.
And if you watch the one-wheel race, Scott and Kristen won. You guys did awesome.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
Way to know your way around the city.
Clearly
Well,
undefeated.
I didn't really
Well,
know
wait,
my
Lil,
way.
like you guys were talking about, like there was shots at, because it was already long enough. Like
Yeah,
Joey
it
was
was long.
talking to Lily about, hey, you want to stop and get a Starburst right now?
That part, Joey, that part did not make the cut. But we were at a stoplight waiting for the light to turn, and I'm here like I'm feeling tense. I'm anxious. I have no idea where Scott and Kristen are. I'm like all into the race mentally, and he's like, "You want to share some Starburst?" So it's okay though.
It was funny. It was
just
definitely
fun. It
funny.
was so fun.
Lily, what kind of race do you guys need to have to win, do you think? What would be a race that we should do? You got like 30 seconds.
What kind of race? Well, we've been talking about doing a workout incorporated race. I think
Yeah.
Joey and I might do pretty good at that one. So
Yeah.
maybe we should do that this week.
Like a partner workout.
Ooh, if it was a
What?
team. Ooh,
Race.
yeah, I like that.
Okay, so you're saying
Yeah.
a workout video and you guys might get it. Okay, fair enough. I like this. If you like the idea, say love the idea in the chat.
Or if you have your own ideas on
Please
races,
let us-
send us your ideas.
Please
we'll
let
do
us know. Okay, Lily, let everyone know that are at home what they can do to participate in today.
Yes, at home, wherever you're watching, there's tons of ways to participate.
Yes.
People have these things now called mobile devices, mobile
It's
phones.
amazing.
You might be able to even
Technology.
text with that or take a picture.
Take a
So
picture.
take a picture of where you're watching from. Bad boomerangs, we want to see where you're watching from. Noah,
Yes.
send in a picture. If you're at a viewing party for today's service, take a picture of where
Yes.
you're at, maybe a picture of
Hey,
what
and
you're
don't forget, it was
Don't forget.
bring your animal to church today. So we want pictures with your animal. This is Vader, best dog ever right there.
He really
He
is.
is. He
He's
really
been-
is.
the best
look at this.
dog.
You're
Cute.
snuggling.
He's
right
so
there.
cute.
Good boy, Vader. All right, so bring your dog or animal, your fish. We want to see pictures. We want to see pictures with your animal. Okay.
So use that mobile device of yours to text the number right below us, and we'll
Yeah.
throw it up on the screen and
Yes.
say hello to you from where you're
And then
watching.
everyone gets to see who's behind the chat.
If
Yes,
you have
love
any
it.
other questions, you can also text that phone number as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We got a great video today that begins to set up the concept of today. Yes, we're going to talk about how to beat the giant of anxiety and fear. We're going to talk about that today. We have videos and live music that's going to happen today, and our hopes through all of those things is that something is said or you see or read, and it allows you to take a step in your journey with your relationship with Jesus. That's our hopes. And if you're on the fence about who Jesus is, that's cool. It's all right. We give you permission to be on the journey to figure it out today. So, enough of that said. Did you know that there's only two, I think it's two responses to brain, two, what is it?
Yeah.
Two main emotions.
Two
Like,
main emotions, right.
And then
that
everything
you
else
act
is
out of.
Which
and
is
then
fear
and then everything else is categorized.
and
under-
love. And we got a video all about that. Check this out right here.
Did you know that the human brain expresses only two fundamental emotions, love and fear? From these two, all other emotions are experienced. As Christians, we're called to live in God's love. But how do we live in love or fear? Humans can have many types of fear. There's the fear of the unknown, pain, death, and fear of choices, just to name a few. When we live in fear, we react to instead of act against our fear. But when we love, we have excitement, generosity, trust, and courage. Love strengthens and empowers, whereas fear weakens and disables. Perfect love, like a light, casts out all fear. For it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Many times, our fears can be irrational. It's like believing in the boogeyman. The devil causes us to become fearful, but God is way bigger. When we give up our fears to God, we can live a full life in love that He has prepared for us. So which will you choose? Fear or love?
All right, so excited to have you switching sides of the rooms with Lily. We had heaps of pictures sent in, and we have some of your great comments dropping in the comment section live.
With race ideas.
Yeah,
So
they're
good.
so good. We'll put them up there. But if you are watching and you're not in the chat room, man, jump in the chat room. It'd be so cool to see you just say hello to people. We got people watching from Kentucky,
Yeah.
Colorado,
That's right.
South Africa, Florida,
Canada.
I mean, that's 5 that we just are aware of. So hop in
Minnesota,
there
obviously.
and let us know where you're watching today. Say hello to somebody you haven't said hello to. We got some great pictures. First, we're going to get to Mary McClendon's thought of the day about taking an original unicycle,
Love it.
incorporate it
I've
in the
always
race.
wanted to ride a unicycle. Let's track one down and do it.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Holly also says you need to have a pet along with a one wheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the two
But
go
I feel
together.
right, but I feel like riding with your one wheel with your pet is dangerous. However, Joey does it every day when
Joey
he walks
does it
his
all the
dog.
time. That's right.
That's why he's the athlete. He has those skills. Okay, that said, we
have pictures?
We do have a couple pictures. Check out these pictures that you guys are sending in. We're gonna see them for the first time with you as well. Let's throw those up on the screen as we're gonna click some buttons here. People are watching in viewing parties all over the world, which is
True.
pretty special. All right, here we
Right.
go. Oh, look at that, all the way in Colorado.
Awesome.
Oh, man,
Sarah
great.
and Tori, you guys look great.
You do.
Hello, family.
Rocking out the
watching with
twins
us.
shirt there.
All right, Ryan with his cat.
Cat,
Love
animal made it to church
Yes,
day.
Brought him
Love
to
it.
church.
Oh,
Hi, Leo.
Leo on the
From
boat.
Are
Are
and
you-
a Pokemon shirt. I
Are
love
you
it.
driving Leo or what? There's a viewing party.
All right. Hi, Nichols fam.
Nichols, yeah, the
Nichols and
crew.
fam.
That is awesome.
Another
Oh, from
viewing
Kentucky.
Party. Love it.
So
That's a
good.
good-looking viewing party. Aw, look at that.
Whose dog is that? Audience of one.
So cute.
Who?
So cute.
I don't know whose dog it is, but great job. That's a great looking
That's
dog.
awesome.
Okay, is that it on the pictures? That
All
is
right,
it.
that's
Okay.
it.
So cool.
So
Thank you for
awesome.
sending those in. It allows us to see faces and animals
Right.
to who's watching today. So we're
Yeah,
so glad
so
that
good.
you're doing that. If you're watching this afterwards, like midweek, you can pop up this live chat stream so you can
Yeah,
follow along
check
with the
out what people
conversations.
are saying.
See what people are saying
It's always
because
a good conversation in there.
yeah, we hope we are jarring some thoughts that you can type in the chat room. And again, if you have any questions or you need some prayer, or
Yeah.
you can text this number, which is on the screen right now. We won't leave it up the whole time, so maybe write it down. There are people right there willing and wanting to have conversations with you. Maybe you're on the fence about who Jesus is and you're like, I want to have a longer conversation. That's a great number to text. They're also the ones getting your pictures. Okay, that said, we have another great
Yeah.
video that sets up the power of words.
Powerful.
Have you ever said something you wish you wouldn't have said?
Absolutely.
Have you ever tried to apologize for those things and feel like your
Absolutely.
apology wasn't
yeah,
equal?
just like holds no weight.
Yeah, because all words are not created equal, folks.
It's true.
It's the power of words. One word can destroy, doesn't mean the next set of words builds up exactly even. It's just the way of life goes. But I think this video here will help jar some thoughts in your mind, the power of our words. And then Brian and Kristen are gonna be out here to sing a song with us. And if you've never sang along and you're at a viewing party, it's okay if you hum, but it'd be really cool if you sang. Okay, check out this video right here as Brian and Kristen will be right up after this. Thanks for being with us today.
You don't have a ton of things in common with God, but there is one thing. You speak. So does He. God spoke light into existence with His words. I wonder what you could speak into existence with your words this week. I wonder what kind of love you could speak into your marriage that feels like it's in neutral. I wonder what kind of courage you could speak into the heart of a child who's hurting. I wonder what kind of peace you could speak into your broken friendship. What kind of hope you could speak into your own weary soul. I want you to know that the most powerful words you're gonna speak this week is probably not gonna be on a stage or a conference call or closing the deal with a client that you want. The most powerful words you're gonna speak is probably just with 1 or 2 people listening, maybe 0. It's totally possible that the most powerful sentence you'll say this week is a thoughtful text message that you send to a friend who's walking through the valley of the shadow of death. It's the apology email that you finally get the courage to send. It's the whispered prayers through tears in the middle of a dark night. Powerful words aren't just for preachers who stand behind pulpits. They're for parents who stand next to bunk beds. Speak life into their kids. For spouses who share hopes and dreams during pillow talk, and not criticism. For teenagers who stand up to bullies, stand up for the uncool kids. Your tongue is so small, but so powerful. Your tongue is telling a story.
All right, what a good video. My name is Brian. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining with us. And like that video said, talking about words, this song we're going to sing this morning is like just a great song to kind of like sing over your life. The song is called Echoes, and it just kind of like no matter what life throws at you, because Jesus is on our side, we can sing, we can dance, we can worship God. So sing it with us, hum along. 'Cause we will sing, we will dance, till the earth echoes the heavens. Sing His praise, till we see the other side. 'Cause we belong to the light. When the night is at its darkest, just hold on, for the dawn will soon arrive. Can you feel the winds are changing? There's a new day on the rise, and the atmosphere is breaking as the new world comes to life. So we will sing, we will dance, till the earth echoes the heavens. Sing His praise, till we see the other side. Whoa, 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 whoa. 'Cause I got a feeling the darkness won't last very long. And I got a feeling the darkness won't last very long. 'Cause I got a feeling the darkness won't last very long. 'Cause I got a feeling the darkness won't last very long. Whoa, 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 whoa. So let us sleep in while awakened. There's a new day on the rise, and the enemy is shaking as the graveyard springs to life. So we will sing, we will dance, till the earth echoes the heavens. Sing His praise, till we see the other side. Let's sing it again. Let us sleep in world. So let us sleep in while awakened. There's a new day on the rise, and the enemy is shaking as the graveyard springs to life. So we will sing, we will dance, till the earth echoes the heavens. Sing His praise, till we see the other side. One more time and let us sleep in world. So let us sleep in world awaken. There's a new day on the rise, and the enemy is shaken as the graveyard springs to life. So we will sing, we will dance, till the earth echoes the heavens. Sing his praise till we see the other side. Whoa, whoa, Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in his blood. Jesus, light of heaven, flame forever, his kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth: God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where your help comes from.
That was an awesome worship, Ryan. I have really been enjoying playing again, and I hope you guys are enjoying worshiping in your living room, at work, on a boat, wherever you are. This next video we have for you guys is just kind of a good reminder of the thoughts that you're having every day and what is that feeding in your life. Last week we talked about our giants, and a lot of our giants might be fear or anxiety, and a lot of the things that contribute to that are the thoughts that we have and what is feeding that. So here's a great video talking about what do you feed?
In Matthew chapter 6, it says, "Who by worrying can add to their life?
Pandemic.
Do not worry about tomorrow. Pagans run after these things."
National emergency.
Philippians 4 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ
Ice sheets
Jesus."
are melting so fast.
They dismiss a launch.
An interesting fact about humanity is that whatever you feed grows.
A financial pandemic.
If you feed your faith, it grows. If you feed your fears, they grow.
All spiraled very quickly.
It's going to get worse.
Some have to live and some have to die.
Realize that our time is better spent talking to the Father than getting all worked up and reading and feeding our minds with the news and the media about what everybody is saying about how this is doom and gloom and how money, which we have hoped in, is lost. Hope not in money. Hope in your Father, your God, Jesus Christ, your Savior. Have your faith and use it. Walk according to it. Whatever you feed grows. This is the time to press into the church, lean into the church, to be surrounded by God's people. We can offer prayers for one another. We can offer hope to one another. We can speak words of truth to one another. If you feast on the Word of God and you renew your minds around the truth, your faith, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you go to the news and you read article after article after quote after talking head and you continue to feed those fears, they grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Whatever you feed grows. Today, did you wake up this morning and feast on the Word of God and go to Him in prayer? Or did you feed your fears?
I don't know if it's just me, but all the videos and the bantering and the song has just been one of those days where it's like, I needed some of that. I needed to be able to see people's names today in the chat room to just remind myself that we are on mission to change the world. I needed to hear some of those things about the words to remind me of the power of my words, and I needed to see some of those pictures. So it's been good for me. I hope it's been good for you. All the first-time guests, my name is Scott Mendenhall. This is Unlock Church. We are a church that is all over the world now, and our whole purpose of this church is to partner with people to unlock their God-given greatness, meaning doing life with you. And in these days, it's starting to look a little bit different. There are local communities popping up all over, down in Florida, Pensacola, Tampa, South Africa, England, Minnesota, today Kentucky and Colorado, but we're popping up all over the place, and the whole purpose of it is create a community where we do life together. And we're trying our best to figure out how to do that in the new world and the new way of things are happening, create community. If you are not part of a community, may we give you an invite to be a part of this community. Jump in and join in, share your Instagram handle name or your Facebook so people can connect with you. If you see a name that's brand new in there today, introduce yourself. Perhaps invite them in to your Facebook page or whatever it is, but connect with people, create a community where we can constantly see needs and meet needs. I want you to have this question rattling in your head over the next few moments. What is Jesus saying to you, and what are you going to do about it? Today, it might be a refreshing point that you've heard 100 times and it just reminds you, oh yeah, I got to attach to that versus the nightly news. Though this video just a second ago sets it up so well. But may today you ask, Jesus, what are you saying to me and what do you want me to do about it? It's just not about being a talking head on your screen. It's not about, oh, the race was so good. Jesus is using all of that to get you ready to hear from him. If you're brand new to church and you're like, well, I'm listening to you, Scott, my hopes is that, and I've prepared all week, that it's not my words, but it's the words inspired by God to be able to speak through the lens, through your phone, through your computer, through your television, in the viewing parties. And my hope is that Jesus says something to you and then you do something about it. Today we're talking about a huge topic, which is so relevant most of the time, but it's even more relevant, it seems, this day than at any point in our lives. It's about anxiety. We're in a series, Slaying Your Giants, and this week it's Slaying the Giant of Anxiety. Next week we're going to do another giant. We're going to talk about how to slay your selfishness, how to put other people first. I don't know about you, but that topic is always relevant, again, because I take me with me everywhere, so that's next week's topic. But today, anxiety. And I was reading an article about anxiety from last year in 2019, July of 2020. So 1 year difference. Last year, people that took this test were coming back at about 8% of the people that took the test were struggling with anxiety in 2019. Okay? 2019, 1 year ago, 8%. A year later, they go back to the group that they already had asked, and they asked them, how about now? And when they take the test, it came back to over 30% spike in more people with anxiety than a year ago. Their job didn't change. Their family members didn't change. It was just the pressure of what's happening in the world. So anxiety's on the rise, and maybe some of you are like, yeah, okay, that's me. But let's give you a working definition of what we're going to use for anxiety today. I've got my notes written in my iPad here. What is anxiety? A feeling of being overwhelmed, uncertainty, struggling, constant pressure, angst, a heaviness, panicked, irritable, discouraged, not sure you want to face tomorrow. That is our working definition of anxiety. You're like, wow, that's a lot of things, Scott. But anxiety isn't, like, I feel like anxiety is just used to sum up a big topic. It's the feeling or being overwhelmed, uncertainty. Are we not in a world of uncertainty right now? Did you know the human mind wants to attach to certainty? This is a human nature thing. This is an all skate, all play for everyone. We're all searching for certainty that we can depend on tomorrow. Some of us have put our certainty into money, into friendship, into government, into I control everything, that I'm in control of my kids' future, where they go to school, my health. We've believed in something that's not actually real, that actually we don't have certainty in our life. Now that's going to shock a lot of you. Like, but I want certainty. And in such a time as this, and you've heard us talk about it here, and you see a lot of news about different conspiracy theories on why this is happening, that's happening, and I don't know which ones are real and which ones are not. I do know that as I watch humans, we look for things to put our certainty into. And so to explain what's happening in the world, we attach to ideas that make sense and feed our point of view that gives us certainty to feel the way we are feeling. Instead of the way we are actually designed is that our uncertainty is to be filled with the certainty that Jesus is who he said he is. That's the only certain thing in the world we got. And some of you are like, but I don't even believe that yet. Here's my hopes over the next few minutes. We say something that's compelling enough to you to go, oh, maybe Jesus is the Son of God. Maybe Jesus did die on the cross and rise again. For those that are on the fence, here's the deal. Jesus said he was going to die on a cross and rise again. His own team of 12 were like, you're crazy, man, but okay, but I've seen you heal some people, so hey, all right. They hung around, and Jesus did exactly what he said was going to happen. He died and rose 3 days later. Not only did he show himself to his 12 crew members, his disciples, as is talked about in the Bible, he also showed himself to 500 other people that saw him with their own eyes that Jesus was once dead and alive. And when we read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those are eyewitness accounts to what Jesus did, said, and the events of the times. These are for us to read, to digest, and to put our trust in the certainty that Jesus is who he said he is. So if you're after certainty, may it not be in conspiracy theories. May it not be in daily news or statistics or stats about this and that and what the world's going to look like, because those are all going to change. And to trust, like I like analytics, I like looking at things, but really analytics are only as good as the information put in there. If you change one variable, you're going to get a different outcome, so I can't put my certainty into those things. I can use those to gain wisdom, but my certainty is Jesus sits on the throne. What do I mean by that? He's got the whole world in his hands. If you grew up in the church culture, it was a great old song. I don't even know how to sing it. Some of you are humming it right now, but he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you in his hands. He's got me in his hands. And maybe some of you go, well, why do bad things happen to good people? Answering that really fast for you. And this is all just like coming out of it's not my notes, but somebody needs to hear this today apparently. But bad things happen to good people in the world because there are bad people that aren't following Jesus. See, me as a follower of Jesus makes my life better. It makes me better at life. Meaning, I'm going to put my hope in certainty of Jesus, and I'm going to put myself second for everybody else. So my life's better because certainty now is in something that is always the same. Yesterday and tomorrow, Jesus will never change. God is the same yesterday and today and tomorrow, always the same. So my certainty sits there. And because I put myself second will make my life better and make your life better because I'm going to try my best to serve you. Do I get this right all the time? No. Do I struggle with anxiety at times? Yes. I would put myself in a category of I enjoy creativity. My mind is always going and I'm thinking about the next thing, how to reach more people, what's the next thing we can dream up. And you know what? When I'm not thinking creatively, my brain can be creative in other areas and tell myself a story of the future that doesn't look very healthy. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's a version of the story that it's like, hold on, wait. I just told my story with Jesus not sitting on the throne. That scary version is Jesus not in control. That is me saying, okay, Jesus, back seat. I'm driving now. This is what life looks like if I'm in control. And it gets really scary. And I do look at the nightly news and I'm like, ooh, boy, what's this going to look like for my kids? What world is my kids going to grow up? This is not what I want. It makes me want to retreat. It makes me want to get real selfish and only worry about me, which is dangerous. Because then what happens? I sabotage my life and I sabotage your life because I'm more concerned about my own life instead of other people. And so hopefully right there, when we're searching for certainty, you and I can start moving to the certainty that Jesus is who he said he is. And if you're on the fence on that, let's have text this number. We'll put it right. If you're uncertain about Jesus is who he said he is, text this number that's on the screen right now. I know it makes us look like a televangelistic deal. We're not. We just are trying to get you an easy way to have your questions answered. Text that. Dwayne and his team will respond to your questions if you're on the fence. So, anxiety, a feeling of being overwhelmed, uncertainty, struggling, constant pressure and angst, heaviness, panicked, irritable, discouraged, not sure you want to face tomorrow. Is that you? So let's ask another big question. Is being anxious a sin? Struggling with anxiety, is it a sin? Every time you're afraid of the future, is that a sin? Because there are people that would like to make that sound like you're not being a good follower of Jesus. No, it's not a sin. It's not a sin. It's not wrong. What becomes wrong in us is that it rewires our brain if we constantly think with fearful thoughts. And we continue to go down that road. It rewires our brain to think negatively without the certainty of Jesus is in this. Perhaps God will show up. Perhaps God will do something on our behalf. That perhaps clause is game changer. Perhaps God, when I moved my family from Miami, Florida to Minnesota, not knowing a soul here in Minnesota, and next week we're celebrating 6 years as a church, and we started with 0. You don't want to miss next week. We're going to tell the story of Unlock Church. But for a journey in my wife's life and mine, moving to the tundra of Minnesota, it was, we feel God leading us. We felt this nudge to take a step of faith, not knowing a soul, to start a church. And we arrived here and it was just simply, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, but perhaps God will work on our behalf. Perhaps God will show up. But if he doesn't, and we fail, because is it really failure to get out of the boat and chase Jesus for it? Is it? Is that really? No, it's not. It's that faith, God, I trust you. You're big enough. And the beauty about God is no matter what season in your life and you're putting him as a priority, you're going to get the benefit of growth. You're going to get the benefit of your faith going up bigger and bigger because you're taking the small steps of, okay, I trust you. And so, do I have anxiety under control all the time? No way. Do I think thoughts that are fearful at times and I attach to that? Yeah. But it's always when I'm at that worst part of my life with anxious thoughts and the pressure is where I've taken Jesus out of the equation and now it's all on me. Somebody needs to hear this. You finding your job, it's not on you. You getting a cure, it's not on you. It's not. Anxiety isn't a sin. It's a symptom. It's a signal. It's a signal for you to pay attention to. It's the idiot light in your car. I'm not calling anyone an idiot that struggles with anxiety, but in your car, you turn it on like my Jeep right now. I start it, it runs great, and all of a sudden it dings at me twice and tells me, I have no idea what it tells me because it just shows a light blinking at me and it just like check engine and I'm like, what am I checking? I wish you told me more than just check your engine because I opened the hood up and I'm like, it's an engine. I wish it said like, hey, you're leaking oil here, or actually I wish my car was smart enough to tell you really good information like, hey idiot, slow down, there's a cop up ahead. But no, it just says check your engine and I'm like, oh, okay, great. But it signals that there's a problem that I might not know. When we are anxious and we feel this overwhelming pressure in our lives, it's a signal for us to talk with God, to talk with friends. And when I say talk with God, that's to pray. Okay, prayer is just conversation with God. It's not complex. It's not big words and saying God every time after every couple words. I don't know if you've ever been, like, oh God, help us, God, today, God. I don't talk to anyone like that. I don't talk to Lily. Lily, how are you doing today, Lily? Lily, I just don't say her name 100 times. I'm just like, hey, Lil, and then conversation starts. God would love for you to talk to him. Hey, I feel anxious right now. I am afraid. I've lost my way. I don't feel certain about my future. I don't feel certain about my kids' future, the school system. I don't understand it. I'm a teacher going back to work and I'm anxious about what that's going to look like this year. How am I going to handle this schedule? And you have these anxious thoughts. It's a signal. It's just telling you, hey, pray about it. And that sounds so cliche, right? I do want to interject really quick. I do think when it comes to anxiety, you've got to take a holistic view, meaning it's got to be everything. Some of us need to go see a counselor, and man, don't wait till it's the worst spot where you're losing out in relationships. Go see someone. I am not a counselor. I am a pastor. I will point to you what the Bible says and what Jesus has to say on the topic. That's what we're going to talk a lot about today. But there are counselors that know exactly what you need. And there are going to be people that can point you to changing your diet. Sometimes changing your diet will help you with anxiety. Did you know that caffeine triggers anxiety? So if you're already prone to being anxious and then you dump caffeine into your system, it makes you have and it fuels more anxious thoughts and more jittery feelings. So maybe some of you need to just stop that. Maybe Jesus is saying, hey, look, I know you like your coffee, but go decaf for a while just so you don't struggle with anxiety. Because none of us like ourselves when we're anxious. Because we know when we're anxious, we've lost or are lacking certainty, and we're hunting for it. And if we're not careful and we don't run to Jesus for our certainty that he's in control, he's got the whole world in his hands, we will attach to anything that gives us certainty. And the danger is that you don't know all the facts of those things. You know the facts about Jesus. You can hunt down every fact about Jesus you need. You can use science to prove Jesus is who he said he is. You can use books to prove who he is. You can use history. It's a fact. So, if we know now anxiety is not a sin, that it's a symptom, it's a signal, then what's our next step? We know, pray about it. Philippians chapter 4, verse 9, this is Paul writing when he's in prison. He thinks his life's on the line, like they're going to chop his head off or violently end his life. So when you read Philippians, the context of this is not he's on some beach sipping on pina coladas here. We're talking about Paul in a dungeon, nasty, rats at your feet, probably damp and chained to a wall. And he writes, in that very moment of uncertainty in his human body and uncertainty of his dreams and hopes and aspirations, it's looking really dark and gloomy. He writes these words in Philippians chapter 4, verse 9. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Come on, seriously. If you're anxious today and you're like, what a jerk, what an insensitive guy to write that. Like, that's the last thing I actually want to do when I feel anxious. I don't want to throw a party. I ain't trying to woo, woo, woo. It's a good day. No, that's not what we want to do. But Paul's trying to teach us something. Paul's trying to say when the signal is triggered and you have anxious thoughts, rejoice, not fakely, not without intention, but to rejoice in the Lord. Now, some of you on the fence about, okay, what's that mean? Why would he write that? This is the first time Paul writes in the Lord. He's said other versions about rejoicing and being happy and your joy and come from your salvation. David wrote that in Psalms, but Paul writes this over and over again, but he writes for the first time, rejoice in the Lord. This is the first time Paul adds in the Lord, which signifies the sphere in which followers of Jesus are to be getting their joy from, or where their joy exists. A circle, a sphere unrelated to circumstances in life. Paul's not going, find your joy or rejoice or happy when you get the new car and you get the job promotion and you have money in your bank account and everyone's healthy. That's where you rejoice. No, he's just saying, hey, here's all skate, all play, all the time in your life when you've lost certainty in the real world, when you've lost all of that and you fixed your eyes on all the wrong things and you're like, I have no joy. He's saying, no, your joy comes from the Lord. That's the certainty that God is who he says he is. He sent his own son to die. That's certain. That's the certainty that we place it in. Do I get this right all the time? No. Do I have reminders all over me? You know, most of my tattoos outside of my children's names are triggers for me to remind myself. When I talk about God has the whole world in his hand, I have a tattoo of the earth cracking and falling apart in hands to remind me that God's got the whole world in his hands. And when I freak out and tell myself a real creative story about my future and what it looks like, I got to remind myself I just painted a picture without the certainty of Jesus, that all things work out for the good for those that love him. That's truth. I don't get to define what that good looks like. It's just me hanging on going, ooh, I wonder what that looks like. My hope is like, I wonder what Jesus is going to do. How's he going to show up? How's he going to write the story? This is so exciting. Moving from Miami to here, man, there's a lot of moments where unknown and will people show up and unknown, and even in this season. Man, as a pastor, I'm a hugger. I like to give you a handshake, bring you in for a little bit of pat on the back. How are you doing? I like to sit down, but now it's like you just size people up. You're like, are they coming in for a handshake? Do you hug them? Do you mask up? Do you take your mask? And it's like this anxiety that all of a sudden I have being around people. It's like, who do I need to be for them? What are they? What's acceptable? What's not acceptable? And it's like, it's just anxiety. It's just all new. And maybe some like, I totally relate to that. But that is me putting my certainty in something I have no control over. Is to me, I need to be the person Jesus has placed on my heart to be and love other people. What does love require me to do? You answer that question right every time, and you will begin to serve people. You'll begin to do some things that you're like, oh, I don't really care about that. I don't want to do that. And you will find yourself serving and doing things that helps the other person out. It's a principle that I live by in my own life. But what are your triggers? Where do you run to remind yourself, oh wait, Jesus is certain. That thing that I'm putting, it's not. I mean, talk to anybody that had a good stocks, and now it's like, oh, so where's it going? It's up and down. And you know what I've done to help deplete the anxiety in my life? I have stopped notifications to my phone. And I'm really irritated with all those apps that go, hey, it's been a while. You turned off your apps notification. Would you like to turn it back on? It's like, okay, no, I don't. Stop shouting at me. So anyways, Philippians chapter 4, verse 9. Oh, wait, no, verse 5. Sorry. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. They're still painting the certainty by Paul, who is sitting in jail. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. This refers to the contentment with generosity towards other. Let your gentleness is referring to our generosity towards other. The content suggests nearness in space. The Lord encompasses all believers with his presence. The Lord is near. Meaning when we call out to him and we pray, God, I can't explain it, but there is a peace that comes on you when you genuinely are talking to God and sharing what you feel like. Philippians chapter 4, verse 4, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your quest to God. Whew. Should I read that again? It's like full screen for you. It's like, man, don't be anxious about anything. But in every situation, by prayers and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. Paul is writing this shackled. He's in a jail. He could actually be in a house. He could be on house arrest. Nonetheless, he's not in an ideal situation, and his future is doom and gloom if he paints it without Jesus. Is that, like, and I know you're going, I'm so irritated, Scott. You don't understand when I can't breathe and it's overwhelming thoughts in my life and you're telling me just don't be anxious. No, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but that's the goal. We got to shift from painting the picture of uncertainty to, okay, I'm not going to be anxious. That's the goal. Now here are the steps. These are the books of the Bible that encourage me the most. Maybe this verse is going to, okay, I'm not going to be anxious. And it's something you remind yourself with. You begin to tell a different story with Jesus in it. Do not be anxious about anything, but have a conversation with God. Have a conversation. If you go back to Matthew chapter 26, and I say back, let me make sure. It's Matthew chapter 26, 36. Write it down somewhere, because that's your homework, okay? Go read it. This is Jesus in the garden before he's crucified and killed. And it's an entire moment where we get a glimpse of Jesus. Did you know this? We talked about earlier, there's two primary emotions, which is fear and love, okay? Everything else is subcategories. And then there's 5, you can kind of go, there's 5 really big emotions. And then underneath all those 5, there's all these other little emotions. There's like 39 emotions that we can go through. And 8 kids, we got 2 girls and we got boys. I'll tell you the difference is a boy, it'll be about a week's time before that you see all 39 emotions with the boys. With the girls, it's like in 1 minute. They go through all 39 emotions. You're like, what just happened? I don't understand. You moments ago you were crying because you were sad, but now you're crying because you're happy. How do I know the difference? Somebody just pray for me, okay? I got 2 daughters. God knew I could only handle 2. I can handle the boys. Is like, just spit on your cut. It's fine. Put a little bit of dirt in it. It's good. Go. I can handle that. But the 39 emotions is intense. But we all have them. And did you know this, that through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you see Jesus go through all 39. It's pretty wild to think that Jesus has experienced every emotional spot that you have been in. So why wouldn't you talk to somebody that's been there, done that, said that, experienced that? Why wouldn't we put our certainty in that? Why would we not come with, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. I'm really scared about going back to work. I'm afraid of getting the virus. I'm afraid that my parents are going to get sick and pass away. I'm afraid that I can't keep up. I'm overwhelmed with this new schedule of hybrid learning, or now I am a homeschool teacher. I never wanted to do that. For a moment, for those that are panicking about being a homeschool teacher for the first time, think about it. You're going to be the loudest voice in your children's life. It's a game changer. It's a moment where God's giving you an invitation as a parent to be able to parent throughout the day. Yes, is it going to be tiring? Is it going to be overwhelming at times? Are you going to feel inadequate? Are you going to be scared that you're not going to be able to teach them about the Great Lakes? Yeah, but here's the deal. You're going to be able to teach them about character building. You're going to be able to teach them values that aren't being taught elsewhere. And just maybe, God has a different plan for your children, that you have something in you that He wants put into their life. See, now that's telling the story with God in it, not God out of it. Because we're all telling stories, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I'm not equipped to do this, that's not what I want to do. But maybe God's trying to say, hey, it's time for us as parents, myself included, to parent our children. They're your kids. They're not your school's kids. They're not the government's kids. They're your kids, my kids. My responsibility to raise them up in the way that God has asked me to raise my children. Parents, it's on you. You got it. Let's do it. We're going to be able to teach our kids to be leaders, to be change agents, to think positively, to not be anxious, to not be overwhelmed, because we're going to be able to pause in the day and go, okay, today we're going to take 5 minutes out and we're going to read this story in the Bible. God is presenting you with an opportunity that no other generation has had to face. But I believe it's because He knows this generation can handle it, and it's a call to parents to come back to parenting first and foremost. That once you have a child, that child is your responsibility and my responsibility. And no matter how many times I feel inadequate and not able to raise my children correctly, that's where I turn to Jesus and say, Jesus, help me. I don't want to screw them up. Quite frankly, every time we screw one up, we just have another kid to try to start all over. So, Rev, we're doing pretty well with you so far. No new kids yet, so don't screw it up, buddy. Hang in there. Be the best you can be best. Okay. All right. Moving on. Okay. So don't be anxious about anything you're like frustrating. That's right. Fret and worry indicates a lack of trust in God's wisdom, sovereignty, or power. Delighting in the Lord and meditating on His words are a great antidote to anxiety. Delighting in the Lord and meditating on His words are a great antidote to anxiety. You want the that's it. Psalms 1 verse 2, in everything, all difficulties are within God's purpose. Prayer and supplication, which is submitting my life, with thanksgiving, requests, gratitude to God's accompanies all true prayers. Philippians 4 verse 7. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. This is the guard. This is the change agent, is that when we delight in God, when we put our trust, our certainty in Jesus, then the peace of God, which transcends all understanding. People, okay, for you that are like, the one-wheel race is not a big deal. Here's what I understand. When we go film these, this is giving us an opportunity as the church staff to go out and have fun together, record it. But when we're downtown, there's this overwhelming heaviness down there. People aren't looking at people. It's quiet. And we're running around laughing our heads off, okay? And screaming. And, come on. We're doing what we do best, creating energy. And you can just see their heads lift up. They smile. They laugh at us. What are you guys? Where can we watch this? They're shouting all these things at us. And it's such a blast. But it's us going and being a change agent and us leaning on our God, on Jesus, saying, okay, we could be doom and gloom, lock ourselves in and not, or we can be a difference maker. We can point out, hey, we can smile despite craziness. And the things that you're facing, all parents figuring out what are you going to do with your kids, guess what? Holly and I faced with the same thing. Think about it. There's no poor Scott. I'm not looking for that. I don't need any attaboys, but the pressure to make sure that we provide something for everyone that are part of Unlocked Church here locally in Minnesota, those that are part of the family large scale, and those that one day will be. It's like this, how do we continue to meet needs and don't disappoint those that are going, well, with those that are local? Well, we aren't in a building. What? do you not understand that I am clear, I see it all, but it's trying to do what God's leading us to do, what keeps people safe, what's wise for the next generation. All of these things, we're trying to figure it out. And if I don't continue to trust Jesus and lean on him, I could freak myself out and I could go crazy if I'm not talking to God and then other people. So, first, talk with God, have prayer. But if you're not talking to somebody and sharing your fears of being a homeschool mom or dad, let's be honest. Moms, you're the homeschool teacher. Dads, they're the dean or principal. Let's just be honest. For most of us, and you're freaking out and you're not telling anyone what you're feeling, you're missing out on some of the fix-it. So if you read Matthew chapter 26 and Jesus goes to the garden, he talks to his boys and says, hey, look it. I'm losing my mind. I'm freaking out. I'm about to go die on a cross. Pray with me. And I'm going to go pray with my Father. So what does he do? He talks to his boys, his friends, and he talks to his Heavenly Father. Have you done that with what makes you anxious? Do you have a group of people that you can honestly say, I'm freaked out of my mind about being a teacher. I'm freaked out of my mind. I haven't gotten a job lately. I'm freaked out of my mind because my marriage isn't what is or how I want it to be. I'm freaked out. Have you talked to someone? Have you found a verse that is the verse that pumps you back up? Because here's the deal. Garbage in, garbage out. You read those nightly news things, you watch the nightly news, that's garbage in at the moment. Because it's only feeding fear and anxious thoughts in the world without Jesus. Now, is it good to be informed? Yes. But we've got to deplete the quantity of news that we take in and up the amount of Jesus we bring in. If this is more than Jesus, we got some problems. We've got to shift it around. We've got to change the way we look at things. I don't know for you, but on my Apple device, I get a Monday or Sunday report of how I've done on my social media reading. And it tells me, oh, you're down 25%. Ooh, rough week, you were up. And it's a great indication of me to understand where I'm putting my time. When I open that up and Bible app isn't number one for the week, I've done it wrong. If the news app is far greater than my Bible app, guess where I am putting my certainty in the news? That they're going to have a new law about something, or they're going to fix something, or all kids going to go back to school, or I get more money from the government, whatever it is I'm looking for. That's not my certainty. My certainty's got to be in Jesus. If it's big enough to worry about, it's big enough to pray about. If it's on your mind, it's on God's heart. If it's on your mind, it's on God's heart. Anxious, it's a signal alerting you it's time to pray. And you know what? When I look at all of my kids, and I've used this illustration before, they all come to me and make their requests or tell me how they're feeling in a different way. Greatness. Greatness will come up and go, Dad, I've been thinking. And then he'll just download some thought, and it could be about dinosaurs, or it could be about, this is why I'm falling so much on my one wheel. And he'll share why. Or, Dad, I've been thinking. Why do you think my sister doesn't allow me to color with her? And he's sharing a concern in his eye. He's like, I've been thinking, Dad. Epic, he likes to talk while we one wheel, so we one wheel a bunch. We get out there and he'll just open up about life. He'll start talk. I will talk about who he's liking and who he thinks likes him. Epic, he thinks all girls right now like him, and he says it's his hair. Sorry, Epic, to put that out on YouTube, but he won't cut his hair. I don't know if he just have read the Samson story where anyways. My kids, they all come to me differently, but they all share. For you, do you have a spot where you come to your Father, God, and share your anxious thoughts? And then do you sit there and listen to his response? Do you pick up the Bible and read something that will help fight your anxious thoughts, the things you're feeling? So your homework today is don't be anxious, if it was that simple, okay? Your homework is to read Matthew chapter 26 and look where Jesus shares all these emotions, and he was anxious and he was afraid, but he kept talking to God and his friends, and he trusted in God. Now, this is the stepping point. This is the beginning. Okay, some of you really need to go talk to a counselor that is educated in this. Some of you need to switch your diet to help this. There are more things than just reading scriptures that you might need to take in. But I believe that it doesn't hurt to pour in more scriptures that combat what the world is. If you want one, Psalms 42, 1 through 5 is a great Psalms to just read to yourself. I love the beginning. This day, I'm desperate for you. gagging for you to be around. I'm lost without you, desperate to be found. I need you like an athlete needs air, like a twin needs its pairs. I need you like life needs to be fair, like a mother has to care. Vibrant God, got the craving for you. I'd brave the worst to quench this thirst. But where do I go to get to know you? Where do we rendezvous? And it goes on, and that's the Word on the Street version. I just like that version. But find a verse that is painting the picture of who you are and what you currently are feeling. I want to pray for every one of you. If you have anxious thoughts and you're terrified, man, a great spot, you've got comments. You could be dropping comments in the live chat and just saying, hey, would somebody pray for me? I am feeling overwhelmed and anxious. Maybe you want to be put on our prayer list here, which we email every week. And if you're not part of our local email where we send out what's happening and the local stuff happening here, not local in Minnesota, but what's happening throughout the week, I should say, would you either text it to that number that's on the screen right now, or you can put it in the chat and somebody will write it down, your email address, and we will put you on the email list so you can get all the upcoming news, things that are on fire around here, and what to pray for. Let me pray for you at home, wherever you're watching this. Jesus, I thank you for the first-time guests today around the world, people logging in, that I just hope today that we've said something that allows them to take a step in their relationship with you where they trust you more, that those that are anxious, may they just begin to have peace and a relaxation. And a calmness has never come on them because they are putting their trust in you. May they have things that when they feel anxious and that light goes off, may they turn to you and go, no, but this is what Jesus has to say. I will not be anxious because Jesus is on the job. Jesus will never leave me or forsake me. He's got me. Even if it's bad things that I view as bad, He's going to work it out for good. I'm going to hang in to see it. God, may the fear deplete and our love for you increase. Jesus, we love you in your name. Amen. Did you know this? That the root of anxiety is fear. So fear less will mean you are anxious less. The antidote to fear is to love more. And did you know this? You can't actually be anxious and sing at the same time. Try it. Next time you have an anxious thought, put on a song don't put on some screaming music. Put on something that would invite peace, but sing. And you'll find yourself relaxing and being calm. Okay, we're going to transition now into the giving portion. We've got the ladies on the other side. How you doing, ladies?
Doing awesome.
So good.
Feeling a little bit more calm hearing that teaching. Thank you, Scott.
No problem. Vader is still rocking out with us. If you saw him in the screen, we told you we were bringing our pets to
So
church
good.
today.
It's good to have a dog. I mean,
Yeah.
pets are
so
good for anxiety too.
They are. Okay, so let me ask this question as we go to a portion of the service today that a lot of people get turned off by, and that is people asking people to give to church.
It's true.
Are people actually giving to church when they give, Lily?
Are they giving to the church?
Yeah,
when
like, is
they
that the
give?
heart behind it? Is that like what it is all about? Oh, I'm giving my money to the church. I can see that big smile. You're like, oh boy,
No,
this is...
I had to process the question. The heart behind it in how we are advised through scripture is not to give to the church so you can check a box. However, it's to be obedient to what God asks us to do. And He says to give a portion of what you make and for me, it's to help me trust Him more. It's like, all right, I'm going to give, it's like if I give Kristen something valuable, I'm going to trust her that she takes care of it. And it's the same as when we give, that we're going to be stewards of what we get, what is given to us, so that God can use it to help others. Yeah.
I think exactly what Lily said there is that it's a misconception.
That's good.
Yes, the church gets the resources, and yes, the church uses the resources, but it is a portion of trust for us to go, I trust you with my resources. And it's just, it's a bit of that moving, that certainty. It is a bit of that certainty. It's a great way to test, do I trust Jesus in what He has to say? Now, why do you think the church gets such a bad vibe, Kristen, about asking for people to give? Why do you think there's such a bad connotation with all of that?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I mean, money is always tricky when it comes to like you're giving your money and you're not necessarily, you feel like you're giving it to a person, you're not giving it to God because of just, we can't see God. So I feel like that might be like part of the connotation of, okay, I'm giving my money to a church, and in your mind you're like, okay, well, I'm just giving it to these people, and all they're going to do is, you just make a list of things that they're going to do with your money, but then it really isn't your money. It's, God provided all the money for you, and he provided everything you do have. So in my mind, it's like, okay, this isn't mine. I'm giving away back to God what is his, and there's nothing, we can never outgive God, and so it's just a reminder of the money isn't yours. He gave it
It's
to
such
you.
a tough thing to walk through.
Yeah.
Is like, oh yeah, this isn't mine, because we want to cling to it and we want to hold on to it. And it is one of those stepping things for us in the trust to Jesus. It is a great way to measure, do I trust Jesus? And is he who I say he is? And it's a great way to do that through our resources. You've heard so many great leaders from Unlock Church share their thoughts today, or not today, but over the past couple of weeks on giving. And it is one of those things as followers of Jesus for us to think about, to do. What is Jesus saying on this topic to you? This is between you and Jesus, not between me or the ladies or a church. Do you trust Jesus that this is what he's saying, and will you follow through? Now, the easy thing is we're going to make it easy for you to be able to give, but the hard thing is that you taking the step to do it. And yes, we use it to do things like improve the quality of what you're experiencing today. Yes, we use it to do things to serve the community locally and around the world. Yes, we use your resources to help start other churches. Did you know that the budget at Unlock Church, we give 10% of it away? We as a baby church that are still raising resources to do what we're doing, we give 10% of it away to help start churches, to help other young families that are moving to other places in the world to start a church. And we're like, we'll give 10% of whatever comes away. And so we're not just asking or saying this to you. It's the DNA of Unlock Church. That said, we do make it easy here at Unlock Church. Lily, how easy do we make it?
So easy as it's going to be to eat lunch after this, because I'm hungry.
Hungry.
I'm trying to let's lighten the mood here. Not that it's not light. Anyways, you can go to our website at unlockchurch.com/give to give. You can also text the word unlock to 77977. And it's a great tangible way you're dealing with anxiety. It's a great tangible way to show God that you trust him.
Yeah.
Well done. We'll leave that up there a little bit longer so you guys can see that. Those are just ways we provide for you guys to take those steps. And yes, full disclosure, we do use the resources. And thank you for everybody being so generous that it is allowing us to be able to meet needs when we see them all over the place. We're allowing us to be able to do what you're experiencing today better than we did a couple weeks ago. So we really, really are grateful for your generosity. Thank you for helping us make a difference in people's lives globally, partnering with people to unlock their God-given greatness. And I think it's so exciting as it's Labor Day weekend and we have heaps of people traveling to see those that are in Kentucky, those that are in Colorado, those that are at the cabin in Minnesota. It's so cool to see you being able to connect and be a part of your community. And I love seeing Dan and Leo and Luke and Alan. There's so many people. Thank you. Thank you for always being faithful here. This is your home church online. Okay, that said, we got a lot of upcoming events we want to make you aware of. What's happening next week, ladies?
Next week, we turn 6 as a church. We are celebrating our 6th birthday. Super special, because if you didn't know, Unlock Church didn't exist 6.5 years ago. It might have been a thought or a nudge, but it exists now, and we're glad that you're here. So we're going to be celebrating. We're also going to be wearing something special because it's the same weekend as the
NFL kickoff.
That's right. Which is American football. Out of the country. So we're going to be wearing our NFL
gear. So if you're at a viewing party or if you're just watching at home, get in your NFL gear, and if you don't have it, buy it so that it's here by next Sunday.
Yes, I can't wait to see the pictures.
You can actually just make it as well. You don't have to buy it. You can get a white shirt and just say, "Go Vikings."
Or go football. You can do that.
Well, you can. You want to be neutral, but we'd love to see pictures next week with you wearing the team that you're rocking. We'll be in studio supporting our teams. Let's be honest, it's all going to be purple and yellow in here as we are taking on the Packers next week.
Woo!
Let's go.
Big game to start the season off.
Yeah.
All right. We also have what?
Yes, we also have Float the Show, which is our TV show for the entire family. We do it so that you can be inspired at home to be happy and joyful
And if you missed
in
it,
your week.
if you missed it, it was last Wednesday, and it's up for you to view. And this week you need a break, and you want to take a nap after school, and you want something wholesome for your children to watch. Float the Show. That's the heart of it, is to be educational. This week we go to the dentist, and so you get to see. We're teaching your kids how to brush their teeth. We get to find out who has the more dirty mouth between Joey, Kristen, and I. A whole bunch of other great things in there. Put it on, invite your friends and family. Just share that link, would you? We really think we're onto something that can help spread the gospel and be something that partners with parents as you're trying to raise your kids and teach them about the world. Next month, it is October 7th.
Yes.
We're gonna give you costume ideas. We got a great video on that. We're trying to get to an apple orchard and teach you how to make some applesauce. It's gonna be a great show.
Oh,
so
that
don't miss
costume video is going to be so good.
It's gonna be so good.
And lastly, there was lots of chatter in the chat about community. So if you want to jump into this community and all these smiling faces, trust me, they don't go away. They're there throughout the week. We've got tons of opportunities for you to jump in no matter how old you are. So if you're a kid, kindergarten through 5th, there's opportunities. Teenagers and adults, go to unlockchurch.com to see all of those.
So go to unlockchurch.com and you'll get all the information you need. Go to digital small groups because kids meet at 11 o'clock on Tuesday, students 7 o'clock on Wednesday. These are all Central Time. And adults, first time guests today, you're invited to our small groups digitally. It is on Thursdays at 8:30. We get in there, we play a lot of games. It's just a lot of fun, okay? So show up. It's gonna be a good time in all of those different things. This one, I do think we're coming to an end. Thank you for everyone being in the chat room. Thank you for everybody in studio today to help get the stream out. I think that's 2 weeks in a row where we've done it without any technical problems, which I'm getting thumbs up from the tech table. That's winning, as Carl could have just done it right there. Just okay. That's it. We are saying good night and goodbye.
Good night and goodbye.
Not good night.
Share this with someone.
It's
It's
not
good night
nighttime.
somewhere in the world.
I mean,
Alan,
actually, that's
it is
true.
night.
It's nighttime for Alan, so
And
for
Luke,
Alan.
it's night.
This is officially the
Have
after
a
show.
good day.
Yeah,
Where
we
we
just
just
transitioned.
banter a little, have some fun, put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
You're probably already
Have fun on
logging
Labor
off.
Day, those in the United States. We'll see you next
Enjoy
week
your
in your
time.
NFL gear. Have a splendid day. Everyone else, this is